Hey everyone, my name is Chris Banks with Pyramid Analytics. It's a pleasure to be with you today with our authoring analytics and SAP presentation to you and demonstration. Super excited to be with the one and only Joe Bobian today. He's going to be sharing with you live our demonstration and value proposition against SAP because with Pyramid, it just works. Before we get started, just want to share with you a quick 101 as to who we are. We're a leader in analytics. In fact, we have a decision intelligence platform that combines the very best of data prep, business analytics, and data science, all with one cohesive platform. Better, it's a no-code platform. And we built our platform from the ground up just a few years ago. So we give you the best architecture that's out in the industry that is screaming fast. In fact, one of the big value propositions that we bring to the plate is that we go directly against the data in your data estate. There is no data ingestion. There is no data movement required. And we're going to give you the best performance and scalability in the market. Around SAP, we do the exact same thing. We go right against your data estate. So regardless of where your data may be residing in SAP, whether it's SAP BW or BW for HANA or right against HANA itself, we can access that data directly, as well as anything else in your enterprise. Anything else, whether it's on-prem, in the cloud, structured, unstructured, relational, non-relational, maybe it's a cloud data warehouse, but you're running SAP on-prem, we can blend all of that data together and give you that one single version of the truth. And again, no data ingestion and no data duplication required with that. But specifically around SAP, our secret sauce is that we recognize that you have put in a tremendous investment, both time and energy and monetarily, with your configuration of SAP. And we want to respect that and honor that and take advantage of that. So things like the BEX queries that you may have, or CDS views, or HANA calculated views, we can leverage all of that that's there. Regarding hierarchies, parent-child hierarchies, ragged hierarchies, hidden hierarchies, we can go after those as well. Custom calculations, time intelligence parameters, multi-currency support, multi-language support, just to name a few. We've got the best SAP integration in the market. So again, we're going to help you protect the investment that you've got with SAP, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud, or part of the RISE program if you're looking to do a migration with that as well. So that being said, I'd like to introduce the one and only Joe Bobian. Joe?
Thanks so much, Chris. So let's walk through a demonstration and see what it actually looks like to monetize and to take advantage of your existing SAP investment. We're going to first start with our login to Pyramid Analytics. Pyramid is a completely web-based analytical environment. No thick clients, no worrying about installs and version and data latency. Our value prop is that with a decision intelligence platform, we want to go directly at your data without data movement, without replication, right? Without risk, right? So the decision intelligence platform as a whole allows you to model data. It allows you to create your visuals, reports. It allows you to define a central location business calculations. It allows you to combine all of that into a presentation layer that is highly interactive and also allow you to do the pixel perfect compound document reporting all in one single platform. So how do you take advantage of all of this with your SAP? Well, we're going to start as an author of content. I want to be able to come in, look at my catalog of all the sources that are accessible to our decision and intelligence platform. But more importantly, we're going to hone in on the SAP HANA as well as the BW. You can see here we're able to leverage the native views and calculated views of SAP HANA. We can also come in and leverage our BW. But for those of you who know BW, it doesn't just look like this. These aren't just 4 databases. This is what it really looks like. The structure is so important. And for most organizations, right here is where you're already getting off to the wrong foot. But with Pyramid, we understand the complexities. We understand the value of the structure within SAP. I want to be able to click down on my EMP data. I want to go into my EMP POs database, and I then want to see not just the list of all my models, but I want to see the actual cube itself, right? And today we're going to be going directly at this cube, right? It's something that a lot of other vendors out there are going to be afraid to do. It's too big, it's too complex. We embrace that, right? We can also leverage all those Bex queries that you put together, right? The parameterization, the targeted analytics that come with Bex queries. Let's take a look at those as well. But like I mentioned, first, we're going to start with that big EMPPO's info cube. I want to come over here and choose my language. Like Chris said, we support multiple languages that your SAP environment might be in. For the benefit of the demonstration, I'm going to stick to English. We have the ability to refresh our metadata, mark these as some of our favorites, but also enter certain things like key dates. I want to go back to a certain point in time with my SAP BW, right? And the same can go with my HANA as well. So that's possible. I then want to open this up. And as you can see here, I'm going to directly query this database. I cannot stress that enough. I didn't move data. I didn't create a model inside of Pyramid. I'm leveraging everything that you've done inside of your SAP environment and simply connecting right to it. So what does that look like? If I come down here and I look at my customers, I simply want to get a list of all of those customers. And there they are. I want to be able to look at my gross amounts. I want to be able to look at my order quantities from this perspective. And you're already going to start to notice a couple things, right? My currencies are coming through that are associated with each of my customers. My formatting is all coming through as I would expect. How about all of my properties for something like a customer, right? Typically, when a third party and non-native SAP analytical tool is being connected to SAP, all of this is lost, right? Why? Because they're having to move the data, right? They're having to take all of the great things out of SAP that it provides you and start from scratch. And we haven't even gotten to hierarchies and complex calculations yet. So for this example, what I wanted to showcase was a couple things. One, creating metrics against SAP can be difficult, especially if you're using some of those visualization tools out there on the market. I simply want to look at these two metrics, and I simply want to create a ratio, right? We are taking a no-code approach to handling these types of calculations. I want to go to my properties, maybe rename this to my ratio. I can set a certain format string, all of that, but I'm good just renaming it for right now. All right. Okay. Let's rename it. There we go. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to add a dimensional type calculation. These are also fairly difficult at times. In this instance, I want to be able to drag in something like my calendar years. So very quickly, I can see that not only are my fields, but also my calculation being spread out over multiple years. I would really like to come in here and look at 2021, 2022. Let's just focus in on those two areas. All right, so now I have just these 2 years. The next question and calculation I have is, what's the growth between 1 year to the next? Well, if I want to go from 21 to 2022, I simply come in and say, let's look at my percentage growth. So what is now happening inside a Pyramid, again, with no coding involved, is the ability to create metrics-based calculations and dimensional-based calculations on top of those metric-based calculations, right? Coming up with these numbers, especially in this far right column, are not easy with third parties. And as an industry, or sorry, as a product and a platform that came a little bit later to the market, we've seen the challenges that people have. And our goal was to fix those. How do we make those things easier, right? Let's take another example. I come in and I want to actually look at these different fields, but you know what? In my data, these actually should all be grouped as the same thing, right? So being able to do grouping on the fly, but not just grouping on the fly, But being able to recalculate, you can see the little star, which means I'm dealing with mixed currencies. Do this on the fly and get to the number I really need. This number right down here in the bottom, it's a very, very hard number to get to. And we preserved what we call the query shape. And we're able to do all of these different calculations right inside of this one single report. Now, to stress the point even more on the value, where is all the time being spent in this example? If you look here, the blue is all the time on BW. That is because we subscribe to the push down query methodology that is so valuable in instances like this, especially when dealing with data at scale. We want to push those queries, those calculations, we want to push those where conditions down to the source, as you can see here, so that the database is doing what it does best, right? SAP can crunch those numbers. Let it do it and return to me the result set that I need. That's giving us high performance and high levels of response with fewer queries against sources, not just of SAP, but also sources external to SAP. And one of the other things I absolutely love about this is that I can come in here and I want to open up in my formulate, right, where my calculations reside. And I see that I don't have a coding environment. I have a block or a modular type of interface. So I'm not having to learn some proprietary language in order to do complex or even basic simple calculations. If I were to run this, you'll see I have a result up here in the top right, but more importantly, I'm returning MDX, right? SQL is not always the best when going against SAP sources. I'd rather do it in the native language, right, of those SAP sources. So it's going to be performant. It's going to be more efficient if I create and pass the MDX code, right? This is where those efficiencies again come with the platform, and where we're really driving a lot of value for our customers. Now, all of this is great. We have lots of calculations, but that's just for the customer dimension, right? The second I change this or get rid of it, I got to start over. And that would be the case for most others, but not for Pyramid. If I come down here into my product categories and I pull out maybe a hierarchy that's coming directly from SAP, I don't want to build this hierarchy. I want to leverage what's already there. Here we go. I can see that I can navigate through this hierarchy, and all of my calculations, including dimensional and metric-based calculations, are preserved as we go through here. And as we get lower and lower, you're going to see that all of the currencies and things like that will start appearing as we go through here. So if I'm an author of content coming from SAP, I'm looking for things that make my life easier. This is a fantastic example of how to do that. Let's look at one more example real quick. I want to come in here. I want to look at my BW. I want to look at my EMP data again, but this time I want to leverage one of the BEX queries. So inside of here, I'd like to look at this one. I'll choose my language again, which I can set as default, my key dates. But what this is now going to prompt me with the BEX query is for my parameters, right? I want to understand, okay, what years am I interested in looking at? What product categories? And I can add new additional values inside of here as well. My changed on variable date, right? This can be very, very important for my queries, depending on the time frame I want to look at. But also, how often do I and how long do I want to keep these defined model parameters? Should I apply just now only? Keep for this whole session as I'm working through this analysis, or keep for the future as well? Anytime I address this, I want to have these set. So I can keep those for now, and I can start to build out my query, whatever that might look like. Inside of here, everything is retained as you saw before. And if I ever need to come back and change those parameters, I have the ability right in the interface to come in and make those changes. One of the other things that are really valuable with the parameters is, do I want to set this for the report for all users or set for the report for each user, right? I have that control on how I want these predefined parameters to be propagated to my individual end users. Hopefully that was helpful for those of you who are working with SAP data. Chris, I'll kick it back to you real quick.
Thanks, Joe. That was awesome. Just awesome. And just to wrap it up, I want to thank everybody for your time. If that didn't get your attention regarding your SAP investments and how we protect them and take advantage of all the hard work that you've already put into the configuration of SAP, I don't know what else would. We've got the best integration out in the market. There's 3 things that we do uniquely compared to everybody else that's out there. Number 1, we speed up insights with any data inside your data estate, including any variation of SAP, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. We scale adoption for any person inside your organization. And I'm talking about the technical and, more importantly, the non-technical business users who are looking for insights. Give them an easy-to-use way to do that. And Joe has showcased some of that for you just now. But that's where we shine. In fact, we were rated number 1 for augmented analytics in Gartner's 2022 Critical Capabilities Report. So all of those easy-to-use ways of getting insights are included in there, from smart insights, automated insights, chatbots, natural language query, natural language generation, and a whole slew of other things that we have available for you. And then the last thing is we simplify analytics for any analytics need. We recognize that the business, some people are looking for reports and dashboards and visualizations and charts, but there are business users that want more sophisticated ways of doing analytics, and our platform and the breadth of capability of what we can provide for you. We're innovators. We're constantly coming out with new ways of delivering information from your data. I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. This recording will be available up on YouTube, and have a great day.